Hello and welcome to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. And we have another great guest today. We're going to talk about commercial real estate. Please welcome Mike Sowers to the show. Commercial Investors Group is a real estate investment and education company that acquires commercial real estate assets for long-term investment. The company's unique gift is executing on a 7-step system using their proprietary software, their commercial real estate tools. This allows the company to unlock the hidden potential in properties by fixing them up, filling them with great tenants, and managing them for increased financial performance. On today's show, we're going to talk about his franchise model, which is really exciting. We were talking before we went live. We're going to talk about value add and what type of projects Mike focuses on. It's going to be a very good discussion. So stay tuned, watch through the whole video. And also please like and subscribe. I'm bringing you guys some amazing guests. So please like these videos so I can grow my network and bring you better guests, more and more guests. So Mike, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And I forgot to mention, Mike also has a fund too. So Mike does a little bit of everything. And it's kind of the evolution. I think Mike started out in the broker world, learned the business, and now he's strictly on the investing side. Will you just walk us kind of through the progression of how your business got built?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Started way back in college, University of Minnesota. I was in business school there, finance and entrepreneurial studies. And I did an internship. I knocked doors for a whole summer selling magazines for a company called Southwestern. And that's kind of where I cut my teeth on cold calling. And then the following 2 summers, I ran a franchise for a company called College Pro Painters. And I was one of the top reps in the country for that because I was willing to go out and pound doors and generate painting estimates that way. So I did that for a couple of years, and then it was time to graduate college, and I split off on my own, started my own construction company, and I started doing hail damage restoration for roofing and siding. And that business was crazy. I went gangbusters for a little over a decade doing that. We renovated a little over 1,000 homes in that time and flipped a lot of them. And we also built a portfolio of single family 1 to 4 unit rentals. And I got really burned out and I wanted to scale up and do less deals, but still make the same amount of money so that I could buy back some of my life. I had become a slave to the system. I think I had a little over 50 employees at the peak. I ended up scaling the remodeling division down to about 9 people and sold that company. And then I sold the rest of my single family properties, got into commercial full time, and been going gangbusters on that ever since. And we've since grown that business out. And we primarily focus on value add deals in the office, warehouse, and retail sectors. Although we do own some apartment assets as well, it's a little harder to come by deals without expanding geographically. But we've done really well in the Minneapolis-St. Paul market, done a little over 30 deals, I think a couple $100 million in transactions at this point, and have a really healthy portfolio. And we sell off some assets. I think we sold 4 or 5 last year, and we got another closing coming up for the sale of one here. And so we're just kind of on the pathway of duplicating ourselves in other major markets now by way of franchising. We're officially launched our franchise company in the 4th quarter of last year and sold our first 2 locations in Colorado and opened those up in the 1st quarter of this year. And it's been going really well. We built a proprietary software that does, direct marketing, deal analysis, workflow management, creates full offer letters and credibility packets, and then also helps streamline the due diligence and underwriting process. So truly an end-to-end solution from everything up until closing. And then we've built some really good asset management protocols and processes for after the closing. And so with that, we've also launched our fund. So we used to do where I'd find a deal and then I put together an investment group and we buy the property, execute the business plan, and then either refi and hang on to it or sell it. Now what we're doing is we're raising money through an open-ended fund. So people are actually pooling money together and we're buying lots of assets under that. And there's some major benefits to the investors. They get diversification across different markets. They get diversification across different asset classes and different deal structures. And it just really gives the same level of preferred returns and overall returns that they would get in a single asset syndication, but they get all those additional benefits. And so we're really excited about that. Main initiatives right now being the fund and the franchise effort. And that's really where I've been spending most of my time. And then I have a president of our company that handles everything A to Z here in the local market.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, you're really, your background is you've done it all really in the real estate world. And so I want to kind of dig into the franchise model a little bit. We were talking to that on my interest level in the franchising world. So franchisee that's looking for this is likes, hey, I'm a real estate person. What's interesting is a lot of franchise people, a lot of real estate people also own franchises, but this is actually a franchise in the real estate world. So yeah. What you're teaching your franchisees is basically how to source and find and underwrite profitable commercial real estate deals, essentially.
Yeah, it's that and how to raise capital. I'd say the most coveted skill of all real estate skills by far is the ability to raise equity capital from other people. And it's what house flippers and landlords who own duplexes and fourplexes and single families don't really understand. At least for me, that's where I was, because I was that guy for over 10 years. And I always thought, well, I need $1 million or $2 million. I mean, if I just got off the phone from a negotiation, like I said, before this, and we got a $5.25 million deal on the table, and we're going to take that down. And, I got to raise probably $2 million for that. Well, for most people, they think that's out of their reach. But for me, I don't bat an eyelash at that now, because I know that I have processes in place to be able to raise that kind of capital in 30 days. And so that to me really is the secret sauce and is what is missing for a lot of people. And when you open a franchise of our company, not only do we give you all the training and the online academy, and you get access to our proprietary software to do all the work, but we give you access to our private equity fund as well. So if basically you're a partner, right? You're part of our company. So if you go out and you find good deals, like, we're going to fund them for you. So it kind of solves that problem for people. Like, they already have the equity funding in place.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I mean, this is a franchise concept that's actually makes sense for people in real estate, especially if they don't have the skill sets yet. Maybe they're in residential, right? Like you're talking about 10, 15 years ago or 20 years ago, where you were flipping all these houses, and you were obviously doing a great job, but you had to develop these skills. And so basically it's a blueprint. It's a business. It's cliche, a business in a box, but it's a business model, a blueprint that you can take what you've done in your market, and somebody else can run and operate with the support of the corporate office. Not only from a financial standpoint, if you find these good deals, you have a debt or an equity fund that could potentially invest side by side with your franchisees. So that's a very, very cool concept. And I'm guessing as a franchisee, you're going to get instruction on how the deal we were talking about that earlier before we went live. That has some complexity to it. I think it was a big warehouse with some land next to it that you're going to build on, some multifamily, right? So obviously, your corporate office at that time, if let's just say I was a franchisee and I locked up this deal and we underwrote it with your tools. Now I'm like, okay, well, I need a backing, because this is a little bit over my head. That's where the company potentially could come in if the deal is strong, and that's where the support comes as the franchisor. Is that kind of accurate?
You get support regardless. So we have a weekly deals committee. All the franchisees get on there, and you throw your deal out there, and we're going to pick it apart. I'm gonna challenge you on your rent rate assumptions and your cap rate assumptions and your deal structure. Why are we doing bank finance in here? Can we get the seller to carry back, and we can pay a little bit more because our weighted average cost of capital goes down? We think outside the box on everything. And so really what it is people buy a coach, But this isn't, I'm going to write you a check for 30 grand and I'm going to do your 6 or 12 month coaching program. That's what our old mastery program used to be. But here's what I realized at the end of the day is that those people were never partners, and it's a very front loaded revenue stream. And there's no incentive for me to continue investing in them beyond the basics of the program. The other really critical aspect here that I think people don't really understand when they sign up for a coaching program is that you still have to start at ground zero with your brand. Where when you franchise on day one, you now have our business has been in business for 17 years. So on day one, you have a credibility packet. You can go inside my software, literally analyze a deal and click a button, and you have like a 25-page packet that has all the recent deals we've done with full detail, all of our lending relationships, all a full purchase agreement. I mean, everything that you need that we've spent years and years and years putting together. And you get access to all of that as part of being our partner, right? We literally plug you in. And so there's really 4 key aspects to this business that are challenging. Generating off-market deals or getting people to bring you deals that actually don't suck. That's the hardest part. Then being able to analyze those deals to figure out exactly how much you can pay and still make the profit you desire. Then being able to fund your deal and come up with the bank approval, especially if you don't have other income, and raise the down payment. How do I split the partnership, that piece of it? And then what do you do after you close on it? What is your business plan? Construction, leasing, property management, all those pieces come together under the roof of asset management. And we've really streamlined that entire process. So I've broken all those steps into the 7-step system that I wrote about in my book. And look, my thing is like, I'm not the type of dude that like holds my cards tight to my chest. I'm the complete opposite. My wife's like, why are you like, your book's too detailed. You're giving away your whole business plan. Everybody, you're going to create a bunch of competitors. I was like, first of all, honey, you need to understand 2 things. 99% of people are never going to do it. And then the second thing is the 1% that does it and becomes my competitor. They're either going to want to partner with me, maybe to become a franchisee because they see how complex it is and that additional level of coaching so they don't make $1 million mistake and overpay for something is of value to them. But the second thing is that even if they are a true competitor, at the end of the day, your scoreboard has to change to like, how many people can you help out in the world? Like there's only so much money you can make, and it's kind of an unfulfilling end. Like I'm more about like taking people, like I was an entrepreneurship major. The idea of me taking somebody who's never done commercial real estate, but has a marketing and sales background, has a sense of urgency, is decisive, is analytical, they're really, really smart, and they're willing to go out there and pound and has resiliency and grit. I can take somebody like that and take them from owning no real estate to owning $50 million in commercial real estate in 5 years and being set for their generation, for generations to come. And so that gets me excited, is really giving people that opportunity. And that's why we started franchising. I have such a passion for that piece of it. And then we're a partner, right? Like as they build their business, the way we've structured it is that our franchise company becomes worth a lot more because they're paying royalties over time as opposed to a front-loaded coaching fee.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love it, especially because I have the real estate background. I have a franchise background, and so it makes sense. So when a new franchisee comes into your system, maybe they have a decent amount of real estate experience, but maybe not in commercial and development and so forth, larger value add type of deals. Where do you kind of point them after they go through training to like start sourcing their first deals? What kind of deals do you think are kind of the best stepping stones in your world?
Look, there's all kinds of stuff out there, but it all boils down to the broker relationships and direct marketing. If you spend 80% of your time there, you're going to get all your results.
You're listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, Beau Eckstein here, host of the Investor Financing Podcast. Are you a lender, real estate professional, or vendor that provides products or services within the real estate investing and business owner space. We are offering a few sponsorship opportunities to get in front of a highly targeted audience. If you're interested, please click the link below for further information. We look forward to talking with you. Thanks. Make it a great day. So really, no matter what, I mean, if somebody has no experience in this system, at the end of the day, you have to be a driven, ideal candidate is somebody that's driven, obviously, has a sales and marketing background is key. If they didn't have real estate experience, I mean, it's not a hindrance. They can learn it. Obviously, if you found sales and marketing with a little bit of real estate knowledge, that's the perfect kind of a potential candidate that's willing to work hard and realize that this isn't like a get rich quick scheme. It's a business that you got to put your sweat equity into.
I would say I could take somebody who has zero real estate experience, but has an analytical mindset. They have grit and resiliency. They're really smart and they love spreadsheets. Like if you're a spreadsheet addict, and look, sales and marketing background, you don't have to be like a copier salesman to do well with this. We're not selling anything. This isn't a sales role, right? But you need to have communication skills. You have to have basic communication skills. If you can communicate, because a big piece of this is negotiations on the leasing side and on the acquisition and disposition side. So if you're good at negotiating and communicating, you're analytical, you're smart, and you're willing to go out there and pound, you don't need real estate or construction experience. I can teach you all of that.
And what are your goals for, I know you just started franchising. What's the goals, over the next 5 years? This coming or 2022, is that bringing in 5 new franchisees, or where are you looking to grow this thing to?
Sure. We're at 3 locations if you count the corporate location right now. And we're looking to go to about 8 to 10 by the end of this year, and then grow to about 100 to 150 in the 10-year plan.
Oh, very good. And can you talk to a little bit about commercial real estate investing, a step-by-step guide? It sounds like a book that most people that want to get into real estate and want to learn a big chunk of it should start, and they could learn more about you and your systems. And that's probably good if somebody's interested in learning more about the franchise. Obviously, they can call and talk to the team, but that's probably a good place to start. And they can learn your systems and so forth and see what you're all about.
Sure. There's 2 ways to get it. You can get a hardcover or softcover version on Amazon. Just type in commercial real estate investing, but there's a lot of books that come up. So if you want, the fastest way is to type my name into Amazon, Mike Sowers, Sowers, and then find that commercial real estate investing book. I have a webinar. I had a bunch of people. I've been getting lots of requests for people like, man, I want to partner with you. How do we partner with you? I'm just getting started. And so what I did is I put together a webinar that goes through a bunch of the recent deals that we've done, gets people excited about the opportunity. And then I go through our partnership franchise program in detail so that people can really learn about that. And then at the end of that presentation, I give away a free PDF and audio, like an Audible version of my book. And so if people want to do that, if you don't need the physical copy of it and you just want like the free PDF or audiobook, you can snag that for free. Just go to commercialinvestingmastery.com/franchise. And you can register for that webinar and get that. And I also throw in some free tools there, like a deal analyzer, some creative offer worksheets, and some other cool asset management tools.
That's pretty good. I'm definitely going to check it out. So as we kind of close out here, I know you're a busy guy, and it's a Friday, and it's probably 5 o'clock where you're at. So you got time for dinner almost. Appreciate your time here. What are kind of some, if you were listening to this right now and you were a residential investor, let's say you've done a couple fix and flips, you own a couple duplexes, right? And obviously they're not able to maybe be financially independent. They're doing okay, but what will commercial real estate, if they just step into it and learn it and embrace it, what will that do for them?
Well, first of all, it's very, very difficult. It's a good old boys club. And if you don't have an inside track and you try and do it on your own, it's really, really tough. And you can make a catastrophic mistake and lose everything you've got. With that being said, I think that the risk is worth it. And I think you can do it on your own. And I give you the blueprint and I'm giving it to you for free in my book. And I think you're going to see that I held nothing back. You'll have everything. But for some people, they're going to value that relationship or they want a partner or coach. I'm happy to point you in the right direction. I don't do one-on-one coaching outside the franchise, but if that's what you're looking for, I'm happy to point you to some people who might be able to help you in that region. With that being said, I think the biggest gap in knowledge that I had when I was house flipping had to do with commercial leases and not understanding how a net lease worked, and then how to raise capital from other people, and then how to figure out exactly what to pay for the properties. And if you could solve those three pieces, you can move into commercial real estate. And you can make literally 10 times the profit with a fraction of the effort. Like we bought a property last March for $3.3 million. We put $450,000 into it, fixed it all up, signed I think 12 or 13 leases over there so far. And we still have another 8 or 9 to go. And I just got that property reappraised for $5.3 million, doing a $4 million refinance on it. And I'll get all of our investor money back, get a $250,000 distribution to our group, and the thing still cash flows $20,000 a month. And that was one of 10 deals we did last year. So those are the types of profits you can make in commercial. And I'm working less than I was flipping 30 houses a year. And I'm not dealing with knuckleheads all day. And I'm not competing against people who watched Flip or Flop on HGTV, attended some RIA event and decided they were a house flipper. Like you're in the big boys club. And so it's just more exciting. It's much more complex, but the profits are bigger. The work is more efficient, and it's just so much more fun when your end user is a business owner. I cannot tell you how much better it is having tenants that are business owners. I've had people where the roof's leaking on their head and they don't even call in. They're not like dealing with some of these apartment renters and single family home renters. So at the end of the day, this business is about people. We take care of our tenants. We view them as partners. And we really look to create value for them in their business first, even if that means having more expenses for that property. In the long run, they're going to renew. They're going to tell their friends, you're going to lease more space, not have to pay turnover costs. And in the end, putting people first will always prevail in the long run.
And last thing I want to touch on, in your franchise model, your software tools for deal underwriting and analysis, if somebody's maybe not the best spreadsheet person, are your tools pretty simple to use? I mean, where you can learn them quick and the tools doing a lot of the heavy lifting?
The problem with spreadsheets, you can break a formula and then never figure it out, and all your numbers can be off. It's very dangerous. And what's the first thing you do when you get a spreadsheet? I start modifying stuff and moving things around. So when we wanted to homogenize our process across all locations, I knew I had to get away from spreadsheets, because the last thing I want to do is be looking at 10 different deals and every one of them's using a different spreadsheet to analyze it. That sounds like a nightmare. And so we're all about systematic reduction of risk. And the way we've done that is every single person at our company underwrites the deals the same exact way using the same exact software. And it is very much like a checklist based thing. Like, did you figure out the taxes? So you will not miss anything. It's got a full renovation cost estimating app that makes sure that you never miss a line item. You can come up with a budget in 5 minutes for a 100,000 square foot building. The other competitors are taking 2 weeks to get bids from general contractors. And then you got a deal analyzer app that's really, really cool.
Very good. Well, Mike, this has been very interesting. I'm actually pretty excited about your program, and you brought a lot of value today. And I am going to go to your website and listen to the audio version. That sounds like a good deal. It's free, and I can get a lot of information. And then I'll probably also I'd like to buy the hard book too, but just because I like to take notes, but I also like to listen. So I really appreciate you joining us. You brought a lot of value, so I thank you for that. I know everybody that's going to watch this in the future is going to thank you. Is there any closing words for our audience?
Yeah, I think that the biggest mistake you can make is trying to get it all figured out before you get started. You got to get started, and most of what you're going to figure out happens along the way.
Thank you. That is great wisdom. Everybody, thanks for joining us on another episode. Please like and subscribe. And Mike, thanks for your time. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.